welcome back to the vlog, PokerBEASTs. This is part 2 of a 2-part Bad Beat Jackpot special. If you haven't seen the first part, it's linked above right now on your screen. I have 1223 in my stack. We're going to get right into the action. I pick up King 8 of spades. I'm in the hijack. There's a straddle on the pot. The middle position player and the low jack have limped and action's on me. I'm going to bump it up $25. I'm having a great time. I've just made a lot of money on that jackpot, and so has the rest of the table, and it is a fun environment. I'll tell you what, this is one of the most fun poker tables I've ever been a part of. You can imagine everyone winning at least $1,000. The small blind makes the call, the big blind makes the call, the middle position and the low jack decide they all want to play, they all want to see the flop. We're headed there 5 ways, 131 already in the pot, and the dealer puts out 4-4 king. I've hit my top pair. I don't have a great kicker. I'm going to go ahead and check when it gets checked to me. It checks all the way around. We're going to the turn. Still 5 players in the pot. It's the 7 of clubs. The small blind decides he's going to lead out this time. He makes it $30. The big blind, middle position, and low jack all fold. The action's onto me. Of course, I'm going to be making this call with my top pair. It's a very small bet. And I'm closing the action. We're headed heads up to the river. It's the 7 of diamonds. My opponent could easily have bet his 7 that he paired on the turn. He also could have a better king. I check to my opponent. He checks back to me. I show him my hand, and it's going to be good. He flips over his own king, but his kicker obviously isn't going to play. My stack's at 1340. I have $2,000 in my pocket. Let the good times roll, baby. I'm obviously having trouble with all the chips I have in front of me. The dealer pitches me some cards. Ace Jack offsuit. I'm under the gun, but you can bet I'm going to play it. I move chips, and I throw in $15 to open the action. The middle position player makes the call. The hijack calls and the button calls. The small blind and the big blind all call. We're headed 6 ways to the flop, $90 in the pot, and the dealer puts out something special for me. The run good continues to Jack, Jack. I've hit my 3 of a kind. I have an ace kicker. I want to get some money in this pot. I'm going to start off the action with $15, just kind of keep it low. I want to build a pot. I don't want to scare people out. I want to give people the opportunity to bluff or come over the top of me with their own jack. The button calls and the big blind calls. We're headed to the turn. It's the 8 of hearts. This time I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I still want to induce a raise by someone. The other jack out there, I bet $35, and the big blind decides he's going to pounce, slamming $100 worth of chips right onto the felt, right next to me. The dealer pulls them in. He counts them out. $100, $65 more for me to call. Of course, I'm going to make the call. The question is, do I go over the top? He only has $77 left. This is a clear all-in from my perspective now, but at the time, I just want to make the person who's putting his money in the pot continue to take the initiative, continue to bet, and so I'm just going to make the call and hope that he ships it all in on the river. The dealer scoops in the pot and puts the river on the board. It's the 4 of diamonds. Doesn't change anything. I'm sitting with effectively the nuts. Jack 8, pocket 8s, or pocket deuces is all I'm scared of. My opponent bets $55, a small bet. It sounds like he really has a jack. He really wants me to put my chips in. Absolutely, sir. I will oblige, but I'm going all in on you. Put those extra $22 in the pot, and he does. And he reveals Jack 7 offsuit. He did hit his jack. I have the better kicker, and I'm scooping another pot on this glorious day. I got right about $1,600 in my stack. I win a few small pots that aren't really worth going over. I trade in 500 red for green, go take a dinner break. I come back, I post my list blind. I'm in the cutoff, and I look down at Queen Jack offsuit. The middle position players have both called. The hijack limps, and I decide I'm going to bump it up, make it $18. The button makes the call. The hijack makes the call. Everyone else folds. We're headed 3 ways to the flop. $68 in the pot. The dealer drops the flop on the felt. Jack 7-6. I've hit my top pair. It checks to me. I'm going to continue betting. $25. The button folds out of the way, and the hijack says he's going to come along after he checked to me. The turn is the ace of hearts. Not a good card for me to see, so when I get checked to, I'm just going to pot control. I check back, willing to call down on the river. The river is the 6 of spades. This time, when my opponent checks to me, I'm going to go for very thin value. I want some money. I think I have the best hand. He probably would have bet at some point if he had the ace, so I put in $20, just looking to squeeze a little bit of money out of him, and he makes the call. I figure I'm going to be scooping this pot, but no, he flips over 6 deuce offsuit. He rivered me with the 6. What he was doing, calling $18 pre-flop with that, who knows, but it paid off. We're headed to the next hand. And it comes quickly, King Jack offsuit. I'm in middle position, 1624 in my stack. There is a straddle on the pot. Middle position player didn't get the memo. He limps, and so I bet $12, also not realizing that there's a straddle. The low jack calls, the cutoff, the small blind, and the big blind complete. The under the gun and the button come along as well. We're headed 7 ways to the flop, $84 in the pot. I told you this is an action-packed table. Why wouldn't it be? We're all having a great time. The flop is on its way. 10-8 king. Once again, I hit my top pair. There's a lot of players in this pot. When it checks to me, I'm going to put out a feeler bet. I'm going to put out a bet for protection, $35. The low jack wants to play. He makes the call, and then the cutoff with $55 left in his stack moves it all in. It folds back around at me. I complete for $20. The low jack completes for $20. $249 in this pot. It's brewing. The turn is the 4 of hearts. There are a lot of draws on that flop. I want to use my stack. I want to use the size of it to push the player around just in case he's drawing. I make it 125, and he does not want to stick around to see. He folds, revealing a king. We're going to the final card of the river to see who's going to win this pot. One player all in. The river comes out. It's the 6 of clubs. My opponent shakes his head, dropping his chin to his chest, holding up his cards with his eyes closed. He missed his flush. He has absolutely nothing, and so I'm scooping another pot. My pair of kings is going to go the distance. I have 1864 in my stack, and with these beautiful chips, I have to give him a beautiful design. I'm not folding many hands. This is my night, it appears to be. I look down at my next hand, pocket nines in middle position. There's a middle position player's limped. I bumped it up to $10. The cutoff decides he's going to raise it up, $45 to play. I haven't seen much action out of him this evening. He is playing pretty tight, so I'm going to go ahead and set mine. I make the call, $35 more for me to call. We're headed heads up to the flop, $97 in the pot. I don't have position. I have a decent hand. Let's see how I navigate it. The dealer puts out the flop, 8-3 queen. I like to see that board. Of course, I'm thinking that my opponent may have 3-bet with a premium hand. I check to him, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to fire another bullet. This time sizing down a bit. He makes it 40. And for $40 with one overcard, I'm definitely going to see the turn. I put my chips in. We're headed to the turn. The dealer puts it out, and it's the queen of hearts. This is exactly the card I want to see. If my opponent has a monster, he's going to slow down now that the queen is out. If he doesn't have a monster, he most likely doesn't have a queen. I check it over to him. What's he going to do? Is he going to apply pressure, or is he going to let me see a free river? He decides he's going to go big, 130. And it does not take me long. I sniff this one out pretty quickly. I make the call. I don't think he has a queen. Ace queen is basically the only queen he would have. And I think he would bet a little lower if he hit trips on that turn. The river comes out. It's the king of clubs, not what I want to see. So I check to my opponent, but my opponent is nervous that I have a queen myself. He checks right back. I flip over my nines, and they're good. The opponent taps the table and kicks his cards away. What another beautiful, juicy pot to scoop. All right, listen closely because I have a huge announcement. Tomorrow, Wednesday, June 2nd, I'm going to be flying to Austin, Texas to play live at the Lodge. I'm playing in a deep stack 1-3 game against Next Gen Poker. Make sure you check it out. I need all the support I can get. I want you in the chat cheering me on. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get back to the action. The next hand I look at is pocket kings in the big blind, 2,086 in my stack. The under the gun player limped, and then the middle position player bumped it up to $21. The other middle position player calls. The hijack makes the call. The cutoff makes the call. The small blind makes the call. And when it gets back to me, I am in a dream scenario. $111 already in the pot, sitting with pocket kings, second best starting hand in poker. Now it's time to charge these players. Now it's time to force some of them out of the pot, and hopefully some come along to tango. I stack out $100. I decide that's not going to be enough, so I grab another $25, throw them on top, and slide it into the pot. 125. I could have even gone larger with so many players in the pot, with such a large opening bet to begin with. I think even 150, 175, 200 wouldn't be a terrible bet here. 125 may get the job done, but I think in this situation, it's a little too small. I do get a call. The middle position player comes along. And then the lady in the hijack decides she's going to play, and then the cutoff rips it all in for his entire stack, which is 200 chips. Now action's back to me, $75 more to call. Unfortunately, I cannot raise here, or I would have gone all in. So I do make the call. The middle position player and the hijack, of course, make the call. We're headed 4 ways to the flop. $846 already in the pot. Unfortunately, I stopped recording, but I'm going to run you through this hand. The dealer puts out the flop. Jack, king, queen. I've hit my top set. I couldn't ask for anything better, except the board is very connected, very dangerous. Hopefully there's pocket queens or pocket jacks lurking, maybe even pocket aces. I decide there's one thing for me to do with the pot this big. I rip it all in. The first player, the original raiser, the middle position folds out of the way. But then the hijack decides she wants to come along. She rips her stack all in. I have recovered greatly. She has $299. The turn comes. It's the 6 of diamonds. The dealer puts out the river. It's the 9 of clubs. Now a 10 makes a straight. But my opponent doesn't have it. She has 9-8. Now let's go to the all-in player. He has ace-10. He flopped his straight. He's scooping the main pot. But I'm picking up the $299 in the side pot. I invested $200 in the main pot, so I'm making $99 on that hand. Although if I would have won that hand, if the board would have paired, it would have sent my night into an unreal direction. If you're enjoying this extremely special session, do me a huge favor, drop a like on the video. It only takes a second. Frankly, if you made it this far and you're not subscribed, drop a subscription as well. I've had an incredible session. I don't want to ruin this perfect memory, so I get up from the table to turn my chips into cold hard cash. In for 300,
out for 4,100 for a profit of 3,800. Now I'm headed to Texas. Thanks for watching. Kato out.